Some of the most memorable moments in boxing history involved four great champions. Their rivalry spanned the decade and went from the welterweight to the super middleweight divisions. This is the chronicle of boxing's greatest four-way rivalry. Top Rank presents The Fabulous Four.
Park, Chicago, the site of the most lucrative fight in the history of boxing.
It's September the 25th, 1962, and one of the most controversial heavyweight boxers ever has just entered the ring.
I guess I had a black eye since I got into the game of boxing. Well, I figured I was trying to give everything I had.
Private Hunter has knocked him out.
He always sort of felt denied, and he was going to make someone pay.
When he started getting dirty, then I started putting the punches together and meant to break his head.
Mike Tyson's nightmare. It was the richest fight in boxing history. Mike Tyson wasn't ready. Lennox Lewis was.
The fight ever since I was a little bitty man.
With a father determined to make a champion.
Champions are truly measured by their tolerance, what they can take, you know what I mean? I laid it on pretty thick. He would get down his knees and we box. Sometimes he beat me, sometimes he let me win.
Roy Jones of Pensacola, Florida. Well, if he doesn't win the goal off this, then I think there's something rotten in Korea.
Holyfield teamed off on the head of Curry. Curry trying to cover up.
In the area I grew up, they told me I wasn't going to be anything.
Driven to achieve and overcome, Evander Real Deal Holyfield willed himself to greatness.
He reminds me of a true gladiator, a true warrior.
Holyfield showed us that monsters do not exist.
Grounded in faith, Holyfield's spirituality strengthened and tested him.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cassius Marcellus Clay. He's young, he's handsome, they know it. He's a poet, a prophet, and many people believe he'll be the next heavyweight champion of the world.
He was essentially seen as a trash-talking buffoon. Every picture that you saw of him, he had his mouth wide open and was looking all crazy and out of control.
I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
He was a fighter, fine, but he was a performer. He was an artist. He knew not only whether he was losing the fight or winning the fight, but he knew when he was losing the crowd.
He put on a show before the fight, he put on a show during it, and after it, he was even better. He changed the way athletes acted with the media and the way the media treated athletes.
Oh my God.
That is the most spectacular one-punch shot of Manny Pacquiao's.
And you may hear him. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Guys, there's nothing like boxing, and there are no athletes like fighters.
Struggling to get to his feet. It's unbelievable.
Takes another right. Or is in deep trouble again? Finds it down! Finds it!
You know, you pay him a price, I guess, but the man said a bit enough.
What's up, fight fans? I'm J.Cotto. Welcome to J.Cotto's Fight Page. And today I'm a bit amped because I went through a Ghetto Superstars video that he dropped on the Perfection Generation, and I have to say, man, that's a diamond, my brother. That's some good shit, Ghetto. Keep them pumping, dogs. You know what I'm saying? That's awesome, brother. I'm just gonna be probably the first one to give you my sort of response, because you asked for a response from the Ytbc's, of course. So I'm going to try to represent the best I can, and you know, just try to break down my categories And all, giving you, your answer, of course, to your questions. But I'm gonna answer these as, it's a category, simply because this is exactly how I see boxing being broken down. Like, for instance, you have fans loving the undefeated streak, right? You talked about that, and I totally agree. You have a lot of these casuals and a lot of these fanboys and these flomos and these packtards and these con armies. I call them Mari Khans, but you know what I'm saying? You have a lot of these guys talking about, oh yeah, you have to be, undefeated. This Floyd thing, basically, where an undefeated fighter is basically supreme, the top. You know what I'm saying? The crop. Creme of the creme, it's not fair, basically, to other boxers, simply because there are other boxers in which, this is another category mixed into that one, which people calling boxers with losses bums, but some great boxers, as I just gave you in the intro, fight fans, they had losses. And they're all great. You know what I mean? Just because they have losses doesn't mean that, they're bums. You know what I mean? I think and I'm not even going to say the ideal model, but I'm just going to say, if one is going to call a fighter a bum, you have to think twice before you say this. They would have to really be a fuck up all around. In ring, out ring, basically not taking care of themselves, getting beat up a lot, something with a record of like 10-25. You know what I'm saying? Or some shit like that. You just can't. Somebody like Amir Khan wouldn't call him a bum. Look at his record. You know what I'm saying? And just because he has some losses, is not a bum. It's just he's not ready. It's a difference. He's not ready. Adrian Broner. Yesterday, he posed with a 357 Magnum, and it upset the boxing world. It upset the fans, and people made videos. And I made one as well because, regardless if I thought that he was gonna go switch up like that, he's acting that way. That's number one. Number two, which should be number one, it's not really cool to be, after a loss as well, and with things circling around with Heyman being upset at you and said it, just a whole lot of shit, and just losing all in all and showing no class as Porter Senior. It's not a good look. You know what I mean? It's really not a good look. People call on a fucking phone. It's all good, normal life. But it's just you can't go around calling people bums who actually have, a pretty good record, and, there are no bums in boxing, man. To actually step into a fucking ring, it's cool. Now, kidding, fucking around, be like, oh, that motherfucker's a bum. But deep down inside, we all know he's not a bum. Okay, that's cool. But actually saying, like, he's a fucking bum, like, save it for a record that's like, 10, like I said, 10-25 or 10-30 with fucking, you know what I'm saying? But, also, another category talking with Mayweather's style not being the ultimate. I also agree. Floyd Mayweather's style is not the ultimate style of boxing. It's not the greatest style in boxing. It's keeping him where he is. It's working for him, just like there are other famous boxers. He's the richest boxer so far, you know what I'm saying? But there are people who are more recognized than he is in the sport of boxing. Believe that or not, guys. I mean, Ali, Foreman. I mean, these are names too that ring bells before his. So, but it's not the ultimate style, And these guys had their own style, their own charisma that brought them up. On top of being loved and showing respect, and some people hated them because they went against their opponents and did some certain tactics to their opponents outside the ring, inside the ring. At least from that era that growing up watching, early 80s all the way to now, 41 years old, of course. Mayweather, I would have to say, you know, he is a great defensive fighter. You know, he's the greatest defensive fighter. You know, that I'll give him. But he's not the greatest fighter ever. Okay? He's one of the greats. And, you know, the other topic where some boxers don't hit the gym much. I have to agree with you on that as well. A lot of boxers, you know, so far it's been they fight one fight a year. Some boxers that are like on this level, right? They fight once a year. Sometimes they fight twice a year, right? And then some boxers, they only do the 3-month regimen leading up to the fight, right? But then there are some boxers, right? Like Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman, you know, Kell Brook, you know. These are guys that go to the gym all around. You know, they stay in shape, top physical condition, you know, sharp water, you know, these guys are totally different to some of the guys like Adrian Broner. You know, listen, guys that don't hit, and then they just work on the charisma. And then when they get in the ring, they, you know, it's like survival tactics. You know what I mean? Survival tactics. I'm talking about off instinct, not off of the instinct of training or anything, or your body being prepared. You know, it's just they do the 3-month regimen, and then after that fight, they'll fucking go out and Taco Bell the shit out of themselves, and they just become, you know, not elite, not ready. Then fuckery happens within that square circle, and then what happens, you know? I also have to agree with Errol Spence Jr. Not competing yet on a high standard. Like, there are levels to this shit of boxing. There are levels to boxing. Like, what these guys are doing, you know, what at least from what we all saw, what Floyd's trying to do, he's trying to throw Errol Spence in front of everybody that he's supposed to fight. You know, I have to agree with Mr. Boxing Today as well. He said that as well. You know, it's like he's supposed to fight these guys, and instead he's like, yeah, you know, I just hope that Floyd doesn't, like I said yesterday, you know, in one of my videos, I just hope that Errol doesn't get used, man. That Floyd doesn't use him and throw him in there with big names yet, and guys that are highly skilled. I mean, of course, this is how we get better. Test our skills against someone who is much better than, you know, we are. But there are levels, you know. There are people that are, you know, and to put Errol Spence in there with Thurman, that's I can't see that. You know, too big. You know, he's just not ready. You know, Thurman has too much power right now, and I think way much more skill. As to Errol Spencer, he has to, you know, he has to work a little more in you know, because he was getting hit a lot his last fight, and he's got to really, you know, just step it up and don't worry about the fame, don't worry about any of that. Just stay concentrated, stay focused on your boxing, work on your craft, your movement, you know, and just do your thing, man. You know, that's basically all I have. I decided to throw the greats at, you know, the beginning, simply because I wanted to show everybody the difference between those guys and these guys. Now, this doesn't go to Ghetto or anybody in the Ytbc. This goes to people who have left negative comments and don't understand what I'm saying and, you know, all this other bullshit. Now this is the difference between a hardcore boxing fan who's older and has been watching boxing since the early 80s all the way to now, and you guys who troll and talk shit and don't know what the fuck in the game, totally get lost and don't understand me or anybody else that's in the description box, in the comment section, excuse me, should I say, that you know, that are actually having the conversation with me and telling me and acknowledging that they understand what I'm saying. You're the type, you know, that are fucking just casuals and don't know what the fuck they're talking about and are the fans of today, of now. You see the difference now? You see what I did there? So what I did there? So what I did there, right? So it's like I have to agree with Ghetto Superstar in his video, and this is my reply. And you know, once again, boxing today has this thing where you follow one boxer and as soon as he fucks up, you chop him down. And it shouldn't be done that way. It shouldn't be done that way. Unless he performs fuckery. And we all know the fuckery that I speak of and what others have spoken of. Okay, there's a lot of bullshit going on in boxing and it needs to stop. Hashtag come back to boxing. So let's do what we do. Let's keep putting these videos out and letting everybody know. All right? I'd like to say peace to the Fight Guru as well and everybody in the Ytbc'S. Yo, Ghetto Superstar. That's all I have for you, my brother. And peace, man. God bless everybody.